Hi, my name is Dory, and I am a piano teacher currently in Idaho and northern Idaho. And I actually recently put together a preschool piano camp that I ran for 4 days out of the week. I actually ran it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, because Wednesdays I do piano lessons all day during the summer. So I wanted to avoid having to cancel lessons for a camp, and so that's the way I did it. But anyway, I wanted to share with you today how I went ahead and did a camp for preschoolers using the KiddyKeys program. And just so you know, I'm not making anything as far as any kickback or anything from KiddyKeys, but I just thought I wanted to share with you what I got and how I ran it and why I did that. So first of all, I have done preschoolers. I've taught preschoolers in piano lessons before with Wonder Keys, and I really enjoyed it. But then recently they changed the materials, and I'm not saying the materials are not good. I actually think they made some great improvements. But what I found is for myself, teaching the preschoolers one-on-one it's a long time to be teaching them. Half an hour. I tried to fit them into my half-an-hour lessons, and maybe a shorter lesson would be better. But I wanted to be able to charge them the same. So the more and more I heard about KiddyKeys, the more I thought doing a group session with preschoolers would be much more economical. I could make a little bit more money in my same amount of time as a regular lesson, and it would be a little more faster moving. I felt like I was kind of repeating the preschool stuff over and over and over and getting bored with it for myself. And it's not that it wasn't good material. So anyway, I had been pondering for a long time doing KiddyKeys, but then because you had to pay for like certification, it was very expensive, and I couldn't justify it. I wanted to make sure that whatever I did, I could pay for it easily by earning it by teaching. So anyway, I was really excited when I heard this year that Chris Skaletsky was going to be dividing it out and letting you purchase parts of KiddyKeys a la carte. So anyway, I figured a good time to start that and get it launched for the fall would be by having a summer piano camp. So that's how I went ahead and just put it out that I was doing a summer piano camp. I didn't really even say anything about KiddyKeys. I figured I knew that I had to have at least 3 or 4 kids sign up for it in order to pay for the materials, because I didn't want to be out any money at the end of doing the camp. The materials are still pricey, but I have to say I love the materials, so they're very worth it. But anyway, so that's what I did, was I put it out there. I had a couple of kids signed up, and at the point where I was at 2, I'm like, okay, I got to get more kids. And so I actually ended up, I had kind of heard from some of my very honest kids that overheard their parents say that they thought my price was too high for my camps. So I thought I would do an incentive to get it for cheaper. My piano students get a cheaper rate anyway, but for camps, but I went ahead and offered a half price for anybody who brought a buddy to the camp that has not been in my studio before, because I figured I was getting more preschool, especially in the preschool end. And then I also allowed siblings to use the buddy discount. So anyway, so that's what I did. I will put any links to anything down below in the YouTube video so that you can take a look at that. But so what I purchased was actually the KiddyKeys Super Starter Set. And I don't really, there's not an actual book. It's a download, but I got lots of materials for you to see, just a little bit. This is the teacher planning. It was really awesome. I just went straight down the line and did exactly that. After I scheduled, this is for about a half an hour to 45 minutes of class time. And really, literally, it does take that. I did 4 days of this KiddyKeys for the camp and had a lot of fun with the kids. In fact, it was funny. I was kind of running through all the videos and learning how all the songs and everything, getting ready and prepping. And my 19-year-old daughter walked in and said, boy, these songs kind of are corny, and she was kind of making fun of me, and I was like, oh, but okay. So I was a little worried the first day, but man, the kids loved it. It's got great repetition. The kids really learn fine motor skills, and they get to learn, about their finger numbers, and they get to learn all sorts of different things that are great and very directly applicable to piano playing. So anyway, I loved the program. It has it all written up. This has one page of the actual lesson plan for each lesson. And then the second page tells you what you need to get ready, and then what other things you need in your classroom, as well as a miniature picture of the worksheet pages that the kids work on for each lesson. So the Super Starter Kit comes with 6 different lessons. So I actually have 2 extra lessons that I have not used, but do plan on using them in the fall. And I just worked right from 1 to 5. So that is the one thing I did purchase. That was a little over $100 for that lesson plan for 6 lesson plans. I also bought the books that go with it. There's a Super Starter book set that goes with it. And at first, I think I was like, oh, these are kind of small books, but the kids really loved them. They've got great pictures, great artwork. I didn't even read this one, Music the Dog, but anyway, you can go through and it's got really great pictures. I just read it right from there. It really doesn't take any prep work to do that. So that was the other thing I purchased, as well as actually Chris advised me for this camp to go ahead and get all 5, there's 5 sets of cards. I bought all the game cards to go with it. The game cards, the 5 different sets they have musical alphabet cards. There's notes and notation cards. There's a keyboard geography cards, and then theory and technique cards. And the last set is composers and character cards. So I actually didn't use them all, and now that I read that, I think maybe I missed something on the character and composer cards. So I ordered all of that. Oh, one other thing I did purchase was I got the train cards. They have these giant, enormous train cards that go with a lot of the activities. Those were the things that Chris suggested I get with this to run this camp. On top of that, I was starting to panic because I thought, oh my goodness, I made my camp an hour and a half long. And FYI, don't do that. Do a preschool camp and just do regular time, like 45 minutes, because an hour and a half was a lot to fill and keep the kids excited and not bored and whatever, running around getting squirrely. So it worked out okay because Chris had advised me to go ahead and get the composers unit as well. So I just got the composer, I can't remember what it's called, composers set. I think it had maybe 5 different composers, plus you compose yourself. So anyway, so each day I did one of the Super Starter lessons plus the composer, and I did them right in that order. I just kind of transitioned from one to the other after they were done coloring the worksheets, and we had done talking about that and did all the activities for the first lesson. I went ahead and went to the composers. So that's what I did. After I then decided maybe I needed the composer books to go with it. So at the last minute, I went ahead and ordered the set of composer books to go with it. And boy, I'm glad I did. It didn't come until like the 3rd day. But that was what I really wanted, what really added to the composer unit. So I highly suggest if you get the composer set to go ahead and get the books as well. So a couple other things that I added to my supply list. One of the songs was about the bumblebees and the beehive. And so I bought on Amazon, I got these little finger puppets. I think it was a set of 10, and the kids loved it. That was their favorite one. They would request it. I said, oh, which one do you want to do again? And they would be the bee one. And then I'd get out the bees and they'd hide their bee in the beehive and whatever. So that was the one thing that they super, super loved. And I would highly suggest getting some sort of bee puppet or something. But anyway, at the end of the camp, I decided to let them keep one of these. So they each got one of these for the end of the camp. The other thing I did purchase on Amazon was I got these egg shakers. I got a pack of 10 of them. And then I should have ordered these probably from Chris because I would have preferred to let her get the money for it. But I got 100 poker chips. We use those on the keys to point out keys for one of the activities. So I think that's everything that I bought. Otherwise, I didn't buy anything else. That in itself, I actually did break even. And on top of paying for all my materials, I also paid my 19-year-old daughter to be an assistant. So I could have handled it myself, but I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be sure that I had someone there to be my support with the preschoolers because I wasn't quite sure how it would work. I ended up having 6 kids in the class. One was mine, and she was not preschool age, but she kind of ended up being a helper and kind of grabbing one of the little kids and taking them under their wings. So it really helped to have my 2 daughters there helping, but you definitely do not have to. When I do this in the fall, I will only take 5 or 6 kids. I won't need a helper, but I think it'll be perfect at a 45-minute time period. So the other great thing I didn't mention was that I did get this for free from Chris. She sent it along, and I love this book, and it definitely, if I do this in the fall, I will get all the kids one of these books. So that's it. I loved it. It set me up. I got 4 new kids actually to my studio. One would have come anyway, but he's a preschooler yet, so he wouldn't have come for another year probably, just because he is a little on the young side, and his mom is really excited. The kids loved it, and so that was it. So that's my recommendation. I highly suggest the KiddyKeys program. I will be trying very hard to get enough kids in my class so that I can invest in the entire 30 lesson thing in the fall so that I can have a weekly preschool class. So